Hello, hello. Hey, everybody. I'm just waiting for Kenny to log on. Let me zoom in a little. All right.
What up?
Hello, sir.
How are you? Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you too. I had to start another. I just posted up on Facebook. I had to start another stream because I didn't realize to make a scheduled one and use StreamYard, I had to do it through StreamYard. I did it through YouTube. So um, I posted up. If you want to, you know what? I didn't share it where I share it with you. Hold on. I will do that
Okay.
since you know everybody in Jesus.
I know a few people.
All right. All right. So sent that. I copied you on it. All right. So you wanted the first thing to talk about was the first, like you said, wish everybody a happy Easter. I
Yes.
hope everybody's safe. The bracket for the our tournament, not the NCAA, which I hope everybody's NCAA is fine.
Fuck Duke.
Anyway, our matchups are updated on the website. So we got number 1 team Mike Williams going against number 4 team Pitcock. We got team number 2 Turner going against team Agnew.
Yeah.
I've got a hand.
By the way, Monday night I checked out Team Agnew's scores. Because I'm a statistics guy. They're 300 plus pins behind pace of the week before. Not to sound bitter, but I was the week before. So just keep on going with
that. It doesn't look all that promising on the scores I've seen. So, but anyway,
yeah, Jason Connell by himself was 200 pins less.
Jason was significantly lower this week than he was the week before when I was going against him.
He needed a 4th game to get even remotely close to what he had the week against us.
Maybe 4.5.
I was trying to be nice because he is left-handed, but probably right.
Well, hey, for Team Pitcock, Dennis Klein himself, he was almost 100 pins lower than he was the week before when I had to go against him.
But in fairness, though, he was 100 pins over because he overachieved. That's what he should be. Is what he's bowling now. And he probably wasn't selling his 50-50 tickets.
I'll give you that. All right, so again, I'll have a lot of the scores tomorrow. As soon as I know anything, I'll update everybody. So we have one more week. The winner of that goes against each other. Third and fourth go against each other to determine who third and fourth is. So we'll find out by hopefully we know before Friday. I'll post it. So all right. The next thing you want to discuss was the summer, the proposed draft league that you wanted to start.
I think it'd be way more enjoyable in person. I really thought that by us doing this and being who we are, that there would be just a little more chatter, a little more talk about it, and there really wasn't. So to me, it was the equivalent to bowling a mixed league. It was very boring. It just seemed like nobody cared. Hey, look, I shot my scores, I sent them in. No chatter at all. I mean, our premise is ego bowling. Everybody's got an ego. This is what they want. And, man, I'm just going to call it what it is. You pussies epically failed at talking shit. I get it. I mean, a lot of you are better at typing than you are talking, as it shows in some of your bowling posts that you make. But, my God, I mean, everybody, it's friendly banter back and forth. Very disappointing. So my premise of now doing one live, and like I told Brandon, I want to have just another 10 teams. But everybody shows up that wants to get drafted. First and foremost, I hope we have more than 40. That way I can laugh at the people that don't get drafted. But at the same time, each team captains, we're going to treat it like the NFL draft. Each team captain is going to have a sheet. They're going to get a card. They're going to walk it up to Brandon and myself. We'll live stream it. We're going to announce it, talk during it. I've got a PA system set up. We'll introduce the player that just got drafted, and we'll probably talk shit about that pick too, because we'll probably think it sucks. And we're going to make fun of it. But that's what we do, because it's in fun, guys. It's nothing personal at all. I would like to see something in person. We do have the okay to do a Wednesday night at Bolero, because Whitney has said we could, and B, Gary is not doing anything on Wednesday nights at Strike Zone. So that pretty much eliminates anything going on a Wednesday night for the Scratch Bowler. Mine and Brandon's idea on it was the 40 people who get drafted, they're all going to pay a $25 league fee. That's going to go into a separate prize fund. It's $25 a night for 10 weeks, 9 weeks of round robin, with the 10th week being position round. We'll do individual brackets, and we'll do team brackets, and some of the bracket money will go into what that $1,000 goes into. It's projected that you could make $500 a piece point money, and if you win the league in a 10-week summer league, and we all know that there's not a single league in the city of Memphis paying that to bowl 36 weeks. So there again, it's something fun. It's in person. We can have a lot of fun with it. We can grow it. But do we have 40 people with us whose testicles are as mighty as their fingers? And you got enough balls to show up as you do to type out your accomplishments or show your videos of you shooting 300, 800 in league that nobody gives a flying fuck about. I mean, let's just be real. I don't. I treat it just like I treat every Democrat post. I scroll right past it. I could care less. Yay. You stayed behind the foul line 12 times. You bowled when it was your turn and you used your ball. Congratulations. I don't care. Do it in a setting like that where, we can talk shit at you. Brandon and I put up $100 in our little 3-game handicap doubles tournament for somebody to shoot 300. Brandon, I'm old. How much money did we give away in that? None.
No,
Zero. No, none. I mean, I put $100 bill down on the lane and told Lucas, strike, go out there and get it. He got 5. It's all in fun.
Yeah.
I'm not picking at Lucas for getting 5. It's all in fun. We have fun with it. You guys want to act like this is life or death and you're bowling for mortgage payments. If whatever the prize fund is, which I don't know because Brandon handles that, if this amount of money affects your life, you probably should reevaluate your life. I promise you it don't. Have fun. This is what it's supposed to be. You know, when Brandon and I started this year and a half ago,
December of 22.
December of 22. So we're coming up on, well, we're about a year and a half. So we started this. It was a premise of, hey, you guys want to talk shit and have fun? Well, here, we'll give you something to have fun at. We've done that every event. It's been fun. Lots of money given away. Good caliber bowling. We have no problem promoting that and letting you brag about it because you beat a pretty elite field. You beat guys.
Yeah.
Now, unless you guys can get on your phones, or if any of you have an actual computer that you get on Facebook, which I don't know anybody who does, and type it out, you don't say nothing. So I want a live draft league. We're not going to start until, I mean, I'd like to start when the league over at Billy's ends, but I think y'all have the Chinese school year and you bowl year around. I don't even know when that league ends, to be honest.
Wednesday night men's, you mean?
Yeah.
I can find out. I mean, obviously, we can both find out. I have no idea. I don't bowl. I sub in it. I don't bowl in it, so I don't know.
I mean, whenever Brandon finds out, if we give a week or two, probably had to be 2 weeks after that league's completed to start ours, because we'd have to have the draft. But, you know, let's have some fun with it. That's all I want. Just have fun. I mean, I have no problem talking shit at any of y'all. None at all. I don't compete like you guys do anymore. I like to. I like to get out and bowl. I still can every now and then, except for 1 and 2 in Kennett, Missouri. But, I mean, I can play. I hope that pair burns.
That was terrible.
I hope that pair burns in hell. But I had fun that day with Brandon. You know, partially because nobody knew who we were until game 2 and 3, and then everybody knew who we were. But it was nice, and we just got to bowl. But man, you know, it's a lot of cool people up there. They were very welcoming to us, and I had fun. And I'd bowl Brandon again in anything, and he knows that. But you know, put a 4-man team together where it's not your buddies. You've got to mesh and gel live in person. Might be a little different story than you getting to bowl the Thursday night mixed league at Strike Zone, where you got the lane to yourself and you're whacking them. So show some interest in that. I'd love to get 40. I'd love to get 50 so I could laugh at 10 people. But I'm going to laugh at you 40 anyways. The rules are the same. We bent them a little for this one. We're not bending them going forward. If you're one of the 10 that's a captain, you're a captain. If you decline, the really cool thing about being at Bolero's is you get near the door, they open automatically. You can leave. We're not going to do the I decline captaincy thing anymore. If you're one of those 10 or however many, you are. If you choose not to, goodbye. It's cool. Doesn't make me any difference. We will do a lottery pick right there in front of everybody. We will set the draft order right there in front of everybody. And we will rock and roll from there. Brandon, you got anything?
No, I don't have anything to add. I just messaged Chris, see if he didn't want it ended. I don't know off the top of my head. I have no clue.
Okay.
So, and the other thing you wanted to talk about was the fall draft league, which again, like you said,
that's got to be virtually in. No offense to anybody that doesn't live here. Just I get questions. Brandon gets some questions about legitimacy of scores. Yeah, I was told some shocking things Friday night while I was bowling by Kerry and Mike Williams. I'm not going to get into that, but wow was about all I could say. I'd like to go back to just keeping that to a local deal. I apologize to those of you that live out in Nashville, Louisiana, Arkansas, Germany. I guess that's where Bobby Highcar is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he could, if this were to go over, he couldn't do it anyway because, finals are going to be in person. The intention is for the finals to be in person.
Is he on one of the teams that's still alive?
No, he's not presently, but the other idea is to have a jackpot night.
Yes.
On the last night. I'm not going to just have 2 teams show up. If we have $30 for a jackpot, that goes towards all of that will be prize fund money because the lineage will have already been paid for.
Right.
So, I mean, again, ideas to have fun, have something different. None of us bowl at anything like this. The idea was I would love to have an in-person final. The problem is leagues anywhere else. It's hard to start a big league up in a town that only has 6 bowling centers, and everybody's already got Wednesday night men's. You got Monday night out at Bolero. You got Monday night down here. There's no night, and we don't live in a big enough bowling community where, Sunday night or Friday night. We haven't seen a double shift in Memphis since the mid-'90s.
The Friday night men's league at Billy's, the Coors League at 9:00.
Oh, there is?
There was. That's back what you're talking about.
Okay. I just remember the scratch league that was at Winchester after the My Lords and My Ladies.
Oh, yeah, we had that.
League.
Yeah,
that was the only one I remember.
Yeah. They had the Coors Light League at Billy's. It started at 9:30. It was a trios league. I bowled with Debbie Warner and John Snyder back then. And we were by far the kids of the group. That was Richard Howell, Steve Patterson, Vic Colwood, Troy Flippo, Parlow.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pruitt. It was the gauntlet of ass beaters. We were the 18, 19-year-olds that thought we could play, and then we found out.
Flippo was still here. Good Lord.
Yeah, we found out real quick we were not that good.
No. And I don't think anybody knows that if they're not from that era, just how good Richard Howell and Steve Patterson were. They just don't know.
I tell the story a lot. I went to Little Rock to watch the Diamond Doubles. And back then, that was the biggest doubles tournament in the Southwest, and there was these guys. They were still amateur players, Chris Barnes and Paul Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
They were the number one doubles team in the Southwest. And they bowled Richard and Steve. And I watched Barnes shoot. I shot Fleming shoot 300. Taco shoot 300. Richard shoot 300. Fleming shoots 298 and they lose.
Oh.
I watched Richard Howell bowl the first sweeper with a burgundy hammer and shoot 620. Go into the pro shop and I'm standing there and he asked the guy, "What do you have in 14 pounds that won't hook?" And he said, I got a Minnie Mouse plastic ball. Richard said, "Drill it." He shoots 814 and wins the sweeper. So for you guys that think you see Richard bowl now, or you've seen him bowl in the last couple of years,
you've not seen Richard bowl.
Richard was Kobe before Kobe was Kobe. Richard had the mentality that he was going to beat his dad out of his last dollar and could care less if his dad ate that day.
Mm-hmm.
That was Richard Howell. That was Richard Howell. He was going to beat you. He had the Mamba mentality way before Mamba was ever even born.
But he was also supporting a family off of it. Granted, the league worked, but
this was Richard's job. This was Richard's job. He worked for A.D. Bird, and we all know A.D. Bird was an exceptional man. But him and Taco just weren't going to get beat, and they both had that mentality of they were going to crush you. We were cool back in the back, cool hanging out, but man, when you walked in a bowler's area and they tied their shoes, they had no clue who you were, and they were fixing to run you over.
They punched in the clock. They're at work. Everybody used to say he's such an asshole. You think that because you'll never be at that level.
Well, they only knew that guy that was on the lanes. They didn't get to know the guy off the lanes.
No,
because that guy,
we had drinks in the bar. We sit there and hung out. We used to go to Denim and Diamonds together.
Yes, but those guys were very selective in who they let in their group.
Yes.
I remember being 15 years old, thinking I was going to hang out with them, and I'll never forget the day Richard Howell looked up at me and held up his hand. And he said, "Hold up yours." And I held up mine, and there was nothing on it. He said, "You don't have a ring. You can't come to this table." Because back then shooting 300 meant something.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, if you didn't have a ring, you couldn't sit at their table. You could go sit at the kiddie table.
Yeah.
and listen to their conversations, but you couldn't be part of it. You couldn't be part of their group. That whole group was that way, and it just made you want to bowl. Today's group will never ever ever know anything about that. It's so soft. This generation is so soft, and these dudes think because they get out here and they throw some scouts and they strike and they beat Jack Me Off and Peter Wanker in some tournament. Now they're the shit, and they'll never know the shit because they won't know the 90s. The only person probably in today's world that's bowling, two people actually, that will know anything about it are Tim and Lucas Hardigan, because they ran around with a guy named Rudy Kazmakis.
Well, yeah.
Other than that, these dudes know nothing.
But they also didn't run around with Rudy from New York, Rudy.
No, I watched Rudy bet a guy $5,000 that he could make the 710 7 out of 100 times in Cincinnati. 5 G's. 7 out of 100. And he did it.
Oh, sure.
Now, he didn't tell him they took the pin curtain loose back there, but he did it. But, I mean, you're still putting up 5 G's.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Which was $5 to Rudy. He didn't care.
No.
But, guys, seriously, on that note, we got off that. Man, I want to do an in-live summer league, 10 weeks, Wednesday nights at Bolero, live in-person draft, and let's just have some fun. Enjoy it, get a little trash talk, and let's see who can put their ego aside and bowl with people they normally wouldn't bowl with.
And then the other thing you wanted to talk about was the tournament in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't understand. I'm not gonna say which state it is, Arkansas, but the state bowling ball has to be a keyboard. Has to be. Those dudes just don't bowl nothing unless it's in Hot Springs or Cabot.
Or handicap.
Well, or Scotch doubles. But this blows my mind. You'll run a tournament. You'll go bowl a tournament, a $50 Scotch doubles tournament, paying I guess $250 to win. And we're putting up 5 G's, and nobody knows where the bridge is. Nobody. And that's
I don't know that any of them have ever bowled against anybody in Nashville. If they have, they would remember it because they wouldn't have, they would remember coming in 32nd because Nashville's probably got 32 bowlers or at least 31 bowlers ahead of them.
Yeah. The only one off the top of my head that I would know of that has gone over there would have been Brad Brooks. Because he bowls every ASBT, and Greg ventured over there, and Brad just didn't miss those. Obviously, if you bowled them all, you got some money back, so there's his incentive. But he was a sponsor, so he supported it. But he bowled every event. Man, that guy was a road warrior, and
works a real job.
Yeah,
owns a business that he works.
He's very successful, and I've had the privilege to know Brad 20 years easily. Met him when I started bowling, and we've roomed together, traveled together, bowled with each other, bowled against each other, in anything and everything. And that dude, I know he's not scared. The puzzling part for me is he's not on the roster. Blows my mind. There were some other guys, and I'm not calling anybody out because I don't think it's necessary. They used to bitch, piss, moan, and complain of our rules from tournament 1. We never changed of the eligibility. And they couldn't bowl. Now we've opened the doors, and it's crickets. So I don't get it, dude. We're the most transparent group running tournaments. We've never hidden a dime from anybody. It's right here in black and white. Everything's up front. We pay everything out right then and there. We don't have 10 people running our tournament while we bowl and do a 50-50 to pay them. Do everything on tournamentbowl.com and then take it home that night. And then mysteriously the numbers change and we pay out the next day. We don't do that.
One exception was the Real City tournament for obvious reasons.
Because we sanctioned it, we had to wait for an appeal if anybody had a complaint.
Well, not only that, it was a multiple weekend tournament, so
that was a lot of fucking shit to make right. On your end, not mine, on yours. You did all that.
That was stressful. I'm not gonna lie. It was, but still, there again, we didn't have but 3 people. 3.5. Yeah, you had 2 kids that weren't even full time getting scores.
So I mean, but we paid out 2 weeks later,
and we had issues with printers and crap. So
yes,
but no one, hardly anybody knew that. I had one person. We had one person make a complaint. Hey, you started 5 minutes late.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say that Jamie Appling was the one who made that complaint, but it was Jamie Appling.
But you did say everything ran great. It was a great tournament.
Yeah,
but
he was also the guy that won the senior division there and then finished 44th in ours. So hey, kudos to you. But man, I'm baffled at why the Arkansas guys hadn't even reached out to ask questions, say, hey, I want to bowl. If that's not.
I've posted on forums.
I know.
Arkansas.
And dude, there's just some of them over there, man. If it's not at Central, if it's not at Hot Springs Village, if it's not at Professor, and it's not at Cabot, they're not bowling because they can't compete outside those doors, and they know that, and that's fine. Then stay off social media and bragging about your league scores because I don't care. I think you're a joke. It is what it is.
Professor hasn't bowled anything hasn't had anything in a while.
No, but that's
on. I ain't gonna lie. I love bowling Professor. I have at least one 300 there.
I love the place. Tim Hollins runs it. Does a great job. The Southern was there a few years ago.
Yes, and he's come a long way in the last 5 years.
Absolutely. He inherited a shit show though.
So I mean, he was very new and green when he came in, and now, I mean, as far as I've heard, he's done a great job.
Place runs like a top, dude. He inherited a shit show, and he is 360'd that one immensely. So, man, kudos to him. But like there again, still confused why people won't bowl. I mean, Ron Hicklin reached out, and I guess he didn't know that I knew how far Clarksville was to Memphis, and put a map up there.
That is a concern. I mean, you're going to travel 4 hours. I want to make sure. I mean, what happened when we went to? Oh Lord, what was that? We went to a tournament. Like 30 people were there. It's like, really?
Was it one of those in Arkansas?
It was. It was. Oh, it was. It was one of Corkese's tournaments.
Where he said he had 56 on the roster and 26.
It was something like that. I mean, I had an Airbnb. You know me. We've had this discussion. I want to bowl. I bowl better in tournaments than I do in league. I probably average 15, 20 pins higher in tournaments than I do league. Not because I'm throwing off. I'm running brackets. I'm tired. I'm fucking old. I need a lower tab to bowl, for heaven's sakes.
The focus is different.
It is.
I mean, it's no different than you and I bowled in Kennett. After that first game, I'd already started going, well, shit, I got to get Brandon a life preserver because he's drowning. And then all of a sudden the light switch comes on and we catch lightning in a bottle, and here we go.
And then you catch lane 1 and 2.
And then I catch 1 and 2 where I don't even think I could have fouled if I wanted to.
No, and that poor lady. You kept apologizing, which, by the way, was hysterical hearing Kenny apologize for a lady for blasting some obscenity.
I did.
But it was great. I mean, there was the new Kenny. He was apologizing for
yeah, but hey, hold real quick. Don't any of you fuckers out there think that's ever going to happen to you, because it's not.
I'm getting ready to bowl, and all I hear is, Kenny, ma'am, I am so sorry. And I start laughing.
Yeah,
and she's laughing at me. Kenny's laughing at me. But, I mean, hey, I finished second. You were, what, third or fourth overall?
Yeah.
And Chad Barrett, we just couldn't catch him. He just was checked out and was gone.
And there's another dude that's not on the roster.
I can't remember why, but
I'm sure there's a reason. But I mean, for 5Gs, I probably would try to rearrange whatever it is on that schedule.
Especially if you look at the roster, which is on eagleBowl.com.
It is.
There are some people, I mean, all I got to do is make top 16 to have a chance. That's all I got to do.
Top 16 puts you in play.
I'm pretty sure I can find somebody. I'm not bowling, obviously, but I'm sure I can find somebody like that I can make top 16 with that was under 40. Or even somebody over 40, 240,
two over 40s can bowl, yeah.
So, which again, I really love this idea. It went over great back in the early, late 2000s, early teens.
Donnie and Carl did it at Winchester.
You had Pete Weber showing up.
Pete, Eddie, Pete and Shay. You had Don Griffin, a lot of the St. Louis guys coming down. And we understand that, unfortunately, Tim Bernert and those guys and us actually posted the same day of our event that we're holding events. And neither are flexible in dates. So, it is what it is. Tim's already expressed his apologies, and I did as well. He's like, man, I was really wanting to bowl yours. And I'm like, would love to attend one of y'all's once and come bowl. It'd be nice. But hey, it happens. But, these other events that have been thrown up way after ours.
Yes, much later.
That's just, you do you, man. Keep running
FYI, Billy's Wednesday night ends 5/22.
May 22nd.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah, so we couldn't start till June. Jesus Christ. Told you it's the Chinese school year.
Yeah, okay. You're the jackass?
We might just have to scratch it then. By the time that starts in June, you're looking, if we started it in June and bowled 10 weeks, it's June, July. We're finished the second week of August. Billy's just starting right back up.
Yeah.
We might have to scratch it. So that is
what we can put a pin in it for next year. Maybe get a different day or different day of the week.
Well, maybe Billy's won't be doing a remodel and have to take 4 weeks off, and then power outages have to take 2 weeks off, and then 3 weeks for the pick your nose holiday and the scratch your butt holiday and all the other holidays they take. Man, May 22nd. There ain't no way in hell, none.
Well, I'm gone the next week because I'll be out of town. I'll be out of the country. So
I'm 2 time zones away the week after. So forget it.
Yeah. So again, we'll just keep an eye out. We'll put a pin in it. We'll circle back to it. Hopefully.
Maybe
don't get me wrong. I'd love to do one.
Maybe during the fall, Brandon. We could do it, kind of like a travel league.
That would be fantastic.
On like a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. When we have the flexibility to schedule it. When
a travel league, I don't think would be horrible. I don't think a travel league would be horrible. But again, much like unless it's wrestling, what does Memphis support? They don't even support drag racing anymore. So and since John Miranda's in bowling or playing basketball, there's 13 people in the crowd at a Grizzlies game. So the only thing Memphis supports is wrestling. Now, if you can get some wrestlers out there, we might be able to get it to work.
I did used to own a wrestling organization.
So, all right.
But like I said, with if we did it as a travel league, we'd have the flexibility of a date.
Sure.
Hey, these guys are bowling this tournament here and here, or hey, there's not a tournament this Sunday. Boom, this is when it's got to be done.
You stay away from the beginning of the month, and I don't know what the Corbies.
I think we kept it in the middle. If it's local and we conflict with the McCorby's deal, I really wouldn't care, because there again, it's going to be local on the. If we do the
Memphis area,
we do the draft league again, it'd be local, so I could care less about the McCorby stuff.
I'd love to include Jackson, and not the bowlers. Obviously, that would be the bowlers, but I meant the center.
Oh, I would like to go there. I'd like to go to Dyersburg. If we went to Jackson, Dyersburg, Bolero, and we went to Gary's, there's 4 host centers right there that are all in top notch and worth having it at. Obviously that center in Cordova, you can hang that up. I'm not even going to go and piss in their parking lot. FunQuest, you know, after the way they did Jonathan, I'm a little spurred, man. It would be really hard for me to go back there in good faith. They did him dirty. I mean, he came in there trying to clean the place up and get it up and going. Damn near lost his fucking leg that day we were there bowling.
Yeah.
And, you know, because you felt like you weren't making a profit 9 months into his tenure, you sent him out the door. That was literally the stupidest thing you could have done at that place. And, you know, hey, Jonathan, look, man, we brought it there to support you, and you let us use your place. And, man, for what it was and for everything that was right and wrong in your center at that time, man, you still made it work. So, man, it'd be really hard for me to go back to that place.
Sure. Not to mention the fact that it's run far worse than it has in years.
Yeah, back when it was FunQuest, and it was run like a shit show when it was FunQuest.
Yeah.
So no, I would have a really tough time going there. I would take it to Billy's in rotation if we could field enough of their bowlers to join the league to make it worthwhile. But I mean, those are things we can cross those bridges when we get there. We got to get there first. But yeah, I'm not opposed to any of those. The center in Dyersburg, I've bowled there several times. I bowled league there a couple of years ago with Sarge. That place is good.
But would you imagine that it's owned by the same people that own FunQuest?
Well, the difference is he's got people in there that are from that area up there that run it, and they share the parking lot with his Mexican restaurant, so he doesn't really go in there that much.
I mean, I get that, but you don't have people that own the Peabody owning Motel 6 either.
No, but I mean, he lets them do their thing. Now, what, I don't know, you know, of course, we'll never know the behind the scenes deal with him and Jonathan, but irregardless, the way he did him after Jonathan's short time there and trying to get the place cleaned up, fixed up, machines running to where it's a fully operational place, and you show him the door, it's hard for me to support you.
And I agree with that 100%.
So I mean, you know, if we went there, hey, cool. Yeah, it would be against my better judgment.
I don't have faith that they wouldn't have catastrophic issues, though.
True, and I mean, even if they did, we knew Jonathan could fix whatever issues we had. Do we know they got somebody there?
He would, yeah.
And so we were there for Jonathan. We were not there for the ownership group. We were not there for
not at all.
So in support of him, I would not.
I agree with that. So, all
and
right.
That documented that I said those nice things, by the way.
What? So, all right. We have the tournament in 2 weekends. The B squad is near full.
Okay.
Plenty of room left on the A squad. Unfortunately, the C squad is at 6 o'clock is pretty naked.
And hey, just for the record, if that doesn't get any more traction, that's getting dropped. So if you've signed up for the C squad, you probably should try to figure out a way to get A or B. If it's looking thin, which it's looking thin, like sheet of paper thin.
Well, one of them is Whitey, so I'm not worried about that. And another one's a person that I've contacted 3 times and I've gotten no response.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried about that.
I've reached out to some of the Kentucky guys, Daniel Dino and those guys about it. A little bit of here and there, but nothing spectacular.
But guys, Missouri guys that aren't bowling the World Series.
That's what I'm saying, guys. The World Series is going on. So for those of you who are scared of the heavy hitters coming from Texas or Oklahoma or anywhere else,
know the heavy hitters because they're here and everybody else is at World Series.
So you have a chance. You know, I understand most of y'all being scared of maybe the Laverys, AJ Chapman. You know, I understand.
They won't be here. It's not a matter of sneaking in. They won't be here.
They will be in Detroit.
There's one that I'm aware of, and that's Brentwood.
Cameron
Doyle. Yeah. So again, he's one. Let's just say he doesn't back them. There's still 15 spots open.
Aaron Martin, Thomas Wynn, DJ Chafin.
Well, most of them don't know who they are anyway.
Aaron Ruiz. That's my point. I would be more worried about those 4 guys than the one name you mentioned.
Oh, I'd be scared out of my mind out of Aaron Ruiz.
Because if he gets a bucket of beer in him and 2 shots before game 3,
and he's even a little close,
he's going to run you over.
He's going to check out and be by.
Yeah, because he mentally checks out, which means now he just feels and strikes.
Billy's no different. I jumped with him if he gets on it.
Billy when he bowled the over 50, under 50 at Billy's. I mean, the first three games. I mean, you talk about just don't foul.
300. He almost had 3 300s.
Yeah, just don't foul
in a row.
I've bowled with him the last 3 or 4 years in Cincinnati because he goes with Sanders' group.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, I love the guy to death. A lot of people think he's an ass, which a lot of people think I'm an ass.
That's the first time I've interacted with him. He wasn't an ass at all.
Such a great dude, and he's so bowling smart. Of course, getting to hang around Ron Hicklin helps, but he is bowling smart, and the dude can just flat out play.
Although all their bowling IQs are through the roof, they're all geniuses as far as that goes. So,
plus Billy's a shoe collector too, so we have that going. But man, get the entries in, guys. We're gonna have the tournament. Obviously, we don't get to 96. The money becomes an issue. But the line is just super right. Brandon and I are keeping the same amount of expense money we always keep, which is what, Brandon?
Nothing.
Yeah. Brackets.
The banners, for the most part, the banners that we make, just because we like being extra, we eat that. It's not expensive, but it's the time.
Brackets, high game pots. There'll be doubles brackets. I mean, any kind of side action you guys want, we will do it. Pass the word around. I mean, Brandon and I are constantly sharing the flyer, posting it, share it. We appreciate you guys who are doing that. And, we'll do another one of these next week. And, man, I look forward to seeing everybody in 2 weeks and come and get some of our money.
All right, sir.
All right, man. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.